Howdy, folks. Got a little story today for you from way back when I was in the first grade. Mrs. Phillips' first grade class at Astor Elementary School. Back in the first grade, Brian was not a good student. He was having real difficulty understanding what school and schoolwork and learning were all about. And this story involves a math workbook and one particular problem in that math workbook. I don't remember exactly what the problem was, but it was one of those kind of story problems. If you got 5 apples and 3 of them go away, how many do you got left? Something like that, or fish or bicycles or whatever. It was multiple choice. There were 3 answers. And I remember reading the problem and being absolutely sure that the first answer was correct. And so I marked that little circle and turned the workbook in. And the next day, when I got my workbook back, it was marked wrong. And I had to correct my answer. And I remember being very confused, very frustrated, and thinking, well, I know the first answer is right, but I guess maybe it's the second answer. Like that's close somehow. I don't remember what my thought process was, but somehow this second answer could be correct. So I marked that one and turned my workbook in. The next day I got it back and the problem was still wrong and I was supposed to correct it. And this caused a lot of distress for me. And I spent a lot of time worrying over it at my desk and finally decided, you know what? I know the first answer is correct. I should have just stuck with it the first time, maybe. Maybe that's how this works. And so I marked the first answer again and turned it back in and got it back. And of course, it's wrong and I'm supposed to correct it. And by this time, I'm at my wit's end and I'm like, fine. So I erase it and I marked the second answer again because, like, that's close enough, and turned it back in and got it back, obviously with the answer marked wrong. And the teacher had a conversation with me. I don't remember exactly what she said, but it was obvious to me that I was failing. She was upset at me. I was doing it all wrong. I wasn't getting it, but I was so sure in my head that the first answer was right. And I guessed the second answer. And I tried to explain it to her. And she just kept telling me, no, the first answer is not correct. No, the second answer is not correct. But I was so sure that that's what it was that I couldn't get out of into, you know, a different thought process. Obviously, we're all adults. We know exactly what this is, right? Process of elimination. First answer's wrong, second answer's wrong. There's only 3 answers. It's got to be the third one. My little first grade brain didn't understand that. And no one would explain it to me. The teacher wouldn't explain it to me. The teacher's aide was also frustrated with me. I was stuck. The way this story resolves is my mom came in for a field trip. I don't remember where we were going. Maybe it was just out to the playground for a play day or something. I don't know. But I couldn't go on the field trip, participate with the class until I got this answer correct. I was prevented from doing the fun stuff because I was a bad student. I was at my desk almost in tears, by then I had already been trained by my dad, boys don't cry, so I didn't cry, but I was so frustrated and getting so angry and agitated. And my mom came over and sat down with me, and she was kind. She didn't have a stern voice, and she listened to me explain it. And I went through the problem and I said, this one's got to be right. And my mom said, okay, I hear what you're saying, but the teacher has said that that's wrong and the teacher is correct. That's not the right answer. And so I explained to her, okay, the second one, I guess, is close enough, but I know the first one's right. She said, now, Brian, we've talked about that. The first one's not right. The second one is also not right. The teacher is correct. So what's left? And I looked at her, and I'm paraphrasing here. This is all from memory a long time ago. And I said, what do you mean what's left? Like I didn't get the whole process of elimination thing. And so I think this is how it went. Again, this is from memory. She goes, it's not the first one, and she covered up that one. She said, it's not the second one, and she covered up that one with her hand. She said, there's only one answer you can mark. And I looked at it And I thought, okay, my mom's trying to teach me something. This is what she wants me to do. So I marked the third one. And then she said, yes, that's the correct answer. And then I got positive feedback. And it was like 5 seconds of confusion. And then that circuit in my brain connected. And I understood process of elimination. And I got really happy and really excited right there in the class while everyone's waiting for me in the hall to go on the field trip. I said, so that means if I get it wrong the first time and then I get it wrong the second time, it has to be the third one? Something like that. And my mom said, yes, that's how it works. When all the answers are taken away and you only have one left, that has to be it. And I was so happy and so excited. And that aspect of learning finally clicked in my head. But that was a year and a half into, my elementary education, and I had been struggling with that concept for a while. It never occurred to the teacher to explain that to me. I was just a belligerent kid. I don't know what went through her brain, why she was doing it. She had her techniques, and she was an older lady, so probably worked for 20 years of her teaching. But I wanted to share this story because I have remembered that all these years, and specifically when I help my kids with their homework. If they run into a roadblock that seems to be a process roadblock, not a knowledge roadblock, like if they don't remember the data, or if they don't remember their times tables, or they don't remember a definition, that's a different story. But if they're having a process problem with how this homework assignment is supposed to function, or what, there's a right answer, but there's also a process being taught every time we learn something. I give them the answer the first time. When I see that they're at a roadblock like I was with a process, I give them the answer. And then I make sure I explain the process. And then I make sure they understand the process. And then I go through and do some repetitive, make sure it sticks. It's kind of, and I draw that repetition from my military training, where you crawl, walk, run. You repeat and repeat and repeat until it sticks. But I give my kids the answer the first time through a new process that just doesn't click in their brain. Because once it clicks, and once you make that stick, they've got it forever. They all have fantastic memories. They remember all sorts of stuff. And now they have a tool. And now they're not at a disadvantage. Now they don't feel stupid. They don't feel dumb. They don't feel bad that they're doing something wrong. They're not going to get disciplined for it. So is that autism? I don't know what a clinician would say about it. I think, yeah, probably that kind of neurodivergent thought process, or I can't intuitively grasp the concept of the process of elimination. It has to be explained to me. Sounds very autistic to my non-professional self, and it sounds very neurodivergent at least. Maybe you've got autistic or neurodivergent kids, or you're going to run into people in life that have some sort of difficulty with grasping a process. I suggest it might be worth your time to experiment with. Give them the answer the first time, especially if you've seen past evidence that their memory is fantastic. Give them the answer to the process. Teach them the process. Give them success. And watch it lock into their brain, and you'll never have to explain that to them again. They will have it forever. My opinion, my experience. I hope it's of value to you. Well, that's my story, folks. There are all sorts of ways that neurodivergence and autism manifests in the world. I don't think my experience of difficulty with processes the first time I'm exposed to them is solely unique to me. I see it in my children. I bet it's elsewhere in the world. So what do you think about giving people the answer to the process the first time as a way to open up that circuit in their brain and teach? Let me know down in the comments. Folks, I hope you're doing well. try to get back to some more long form videos here. It's been a little busy with the end of school year and all the award ceremonies and graduation promotion things. Take care. Remember, hope is a choice.